let's get BlackBird open. Okay, so let's just start with, I'll just use a market entry order here to get things started. So we'll set a profit target right to the upper band when you're in a long trade, and set the stop loss to the lower band right when you're in a long trade. And then BlackBird will automatically, reverse things for you if you're in a short trade. So profit target here, let's go to custom, like so. And all right, so on the options tab for the initial placement, all right, we're going to open this menu up, and the mode, right, we're not setting our profit target to some kind of bar price, but we're going to set it to an indicator value. Right, all right, so there's where we can load up the indicator. All right, so not to be confused with the indicator down here. Remember, this indicator here calculates an offset distance, right? So, this indicator up here is the literal price to set your profit target to, right? So indicators used up here have to run on the price panel, right? The indicators that you can use down here for the offset are actually calculating an offset in points, such as the ATR, right? So if you're using an ATR-based profit target or stop loss, right, the ATR actually calculates an offset distance in points. So that would be used down here. So, all right, anyways, so let's set up our Bollinger. There we go, right? Just again using 2 and 14. So for the profit target, if we're in a long trade, we're going to set it to the upper band. If we're in a short trade, we're going to set it to the lower band. There we go, lower band, like so, right? So we have our boxes checked, right, like that. And there we go. So that's the profit target. And then the stop loss, again, we'll just go to custom, open that up, go into the initial placement here, and let's see, and once again change the mode to indicator value. And there we go, we can already see that the Bollinger is already loaded in there to save us a little bit of time. But obviously, this time, right, the stop loss, if we're in a long trade, we want the stop loss at the lower band. And if it's a short trade, we want the stop loss at the upper band. Right, so flip those around. There we go. And also, remember that you can add an offset if you want. So you can put one tick below the band, something like that if you want. And let's see, let's also make this a little more advanced, and we can add a trailing here. So so for example, obviously, this is a pretty quick moving Bollinger, but let's say you did get long here and the Bollinger did start moving up, a little sooner here, then maybe you might want to, trail your profit target up, or better yet, maybe you took a short trade over here, and we can see the Bollinger band is, is trailing down as the market's coming down, so you want to pull your stop loss down with it. So if we want to add a trailing rule here, switch over to the trailing actions tab. We're going to set the mode to custom, and so now we can create a custom trailing rule here so that the stop loss follows the Bollinger band. So all right, so let's click the add trailing rule there, and if you want, you can give this a name as a little reminder. So all right, so there's no trick, there's no trigger. We just want that stop loss to start, trailing upward with the Bollinger if it moves upward, or when maybe. So we're going to skip the triggers and just go straight to the action. Right, and the action is already set to, move the order So we just need to go to the move to, and we're going to replace the last price with an indicator value. So again, we're going to switch the mode to indicator. And there we go. So we're going to swap out the SMA with the Bollinger. And so again, this is a stop loss trailing. So for a long trade, we want the stop loss to follow the lower band. And there we go. The upper band selected for a short trade. So we're good to go there. Here. All right. So now we have our stop loss following the Bollinger. And lastly, remember to set the repeat to indefinitely, right? So that way this trailing rule keeps getting executed, right? Otherwise, if you left it to none, then the stop loss would move one time, and then it wouldn't trail anymore. So, and the repeat is already defaulted to once per bar, right? Now, obviously, when you're using indicators, right? Indicators only update after the bar closes. So we'll just leave this on once per bar. Right? So if you think that somehow there's an advantage to, say, maybe update the trailing, on once per tick, well, remember, indicators don't update on a tick by tick basis. They update after the bar closes, right? So there is no advantage. Actually, that just kind of that would just cause BlackBird to do extra unnecessary calculations. So that would just add more stress to NinjaTrader. So we'll just leave it on once per bar. And there we have it. So there's a trailing stop loss. And if you wanted to, you could even do the same for the profit target. So you could even have the profit target, right, move up or move down with the Bollinger as well, just by repeating the exact same process here, but just within the profit target settings here. So let's add a trailing roll there, and this time we'll just kind of jump straight to it. So we'll go straight to the action. We're going to set the menu to indicator value, and there's the Bollinger already set up for us. Since this is a profit target, we're going to flip these around again, right? So there we go. For a long trade, we want the profit target to follow the upper band. So, and once again, set that repeat to indefinitely. And there we have it. So let's see here. Let's go along. There we have it. And we'll go along one more time. Yeah, there we go. I just saw the stop loss just moved up a little fraction. It's moved up again there. And even our profit target's moving up. There you go. Stop loss moved up a little bit. All right. So there you go, Clint. Right. Pretty simple to set your stop loss or profit target to any kind of indicator that runs on the price panel. Right. So I think what confuses most people, right, because they don't look at the documentation, is they think that they would be putting the Bollinger, or maybe they're using an SMA for their stop loss, and they're putting that down in the offset section. But, that's incorrect. You would put that on the top here, but also you got to remember there's a mode. So, right, in that mode, determines whether you're accessing bar prices or an indicator value, or BlackBird and Bloodhound have the swing point prices, basically the swing highs and lows indicator, built into it. And so if you want to set your stop loss to a swing point, such as like the recent swing low, for your stop loss, or a recent swing high for your profit targets, there is a built-in menu. I think most people, though, would probably prefer to just use the indicator value and then just go, load up the swing highs and lows this way, right? Because most people are kind of familiar with this, with the settings displayed in this format, right? Because this looks just like the indicator window on the chart, right? So it's just a different way of displaying the swing highs and lows settings or parameters, right? Number of swings, swing calculation type, swing strength, right? That's all here, just kind of rearranged a little differently, right? Number of swings, swing size, right? Swing style, standard. Little tip here, right? So you can see I changed the stop loss over to the swing highs and lows indicator, right, to kind of for my explanation there, right? And I was going to switch this back over to the Bollinger, but because I did do some testing, right, I clicked the OK button, right, which kind of saved everything to memory there, and tested it, and then opened it back up and made some changes. So if I want to undo all those changes and kind of go back to where all the settings were when I was doing the testing, I can just hit the cancel button like that, and that loses any kind of changes you might have done. And BlackBird reverts back to all the settings when you opened the interface. Right, so there we go. So if I go back, and yeah, there we go. So the initial placement is back on the Bollinger indicator for me. And let's just make sure. Yep, so the trailing rule here is also on the Bollinger.